Today's gospel reading is from Matthew chapter 13, verses 44 through 52. Jesus speaks in three different ways about the realm of heaven. The realm of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which someone found and covered up. Then in great joy, the finder goes and sells everything and buys that field. Again, the realm of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls, who, on finding one pearl of great value, went and sold everything and bought it. Again, the realm of heaven is like a net which was thrown into the sea and gathered fish of every kind. When the net was full, it was drawn ashore, and people sat down and sorted the good into vessels, but threw away the bad. So it will be at the close of the age. The angels will come out and separate the evil from the righteous, and throw them into the furnace of fire, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Have you understood all of this? They answered yes. And Jesus said to them, Therefore, every scribe who has been trained for the realm of heaven is like a householder who brings out of the treasury what is new and what is old. May God add understanding to the reading of this gospel.
Oh, another great reading with the gnashing of the teeth. Almighty God, I thank you that you've called me once again to be your instrument. I ask that you remove me from myself, remove me from all fears, concerns, and anxieties, and replace that with the movement of your Holy Spirit within me. Reach out and touch the hearts and the ears of those who would hear this message today, that they would hear the words you would have for them on their faith journey. Amen. Out with the old and in with the new. Not. Today's gospel tells us of the three ways about the realm of heaven. In the first example, we're told of the man who finds the hidden treasure in a field, leaves the treasure in place, and sells all of his possessions so that he can return and purchase the field, giving up all that he once had so as to have his new field. In the second, we're told of the man who finds the precious pearl, and again goes and sells all his possessions so that he can purchase the great pearl, giving up all that he once had just to have the new pearl. The third is about the fishing net being cast out, and when full, brought ashore, and the spoils are separated. They keep the good ones and throw away what others perceived as bad. Once again, just throwing away part of the hard day's labor for the new. Then at the end of the parable, Jesus throws us a curveball. Have you understood all this? And they answered yes. And Jesus said to them, Therefore every scribe who has been trained for the realm of heaven is like a householder who brings out of the treasury what is new and what is old. What Jesus is in effect saying is this: you're able to understand because you came to me with a fine heritage. You came with all the teaching of the law and of the prophets. A scribe comes to me with a lifetime of study of the law and of all its commandments. That background helps us understand. But after you've been instructed by me, you have the knowledge, not only of the things you used to know, but of new things that you had never known before. Even the knowledge which you had before is illuminated by what I have told you. There's actually something very suggestive here. It means that, Southern Baptist, hold on. Jesus never desired or intended that anyone should forget all that they knew when they come to Jesus. But that we should see that knowledge in a new light and use it in a new service. When we do that, what we knew before becomes a greater treasure than it ever was. Everyone who comes to Jesus Christ with some gift and with some ability, Jesus does not ask us to give up that gift. So many people think that when they declare for Christ, they must give things up and concentrate upon the so-called religious things. A scholar doesn't give up their knowledge when they become a Christian. Rather, they use that knowledge for Christ. A business person need not give up the business. Rather, use it for Christ. And run the business in a way that is in harmony with the ways of Christ. A person who can sing, dance, or act, or paint need not give up their art, but they must use that art in harmony with the way that Christ would. Our past, who we once were, or who we are because of our past, is what makes us who we are in the eyes of God. We were made to humbly walk a journey. Each step that we have taken is a part of who we are. And that is what makes us the full creation of God. We cannot just pretend that there was nothing before we chose this life of following Christ or following a greater power. It is the old and the new that makes us the true disciple makers that we are called to be. It doesn't matter what your past may be, if you're willing to come to your God and share those gifts with God, then that is exactly what God needs to reach out to all those around. There's a church in Prairie Grove that had a sign out a few weeks ago. Your biggest pain can become your greatest ministry. If you've had a checkered past, or what some may consider a questionable life, that makes you no less valued in importance to the work of the realm of God. What Jesus is telling us is that each person, we should not abandon our gifts or our pasts, but to use them even more wonderfully in the light of the knowledge which Christ has given us. I struggled yesterday evening whether I should just throw away the sermon and just concentrate on Charlottesville. I'll do both. Yesterday, what happened? Well, started Friday night in Charlottesville. Standing room only, filled to capacity. A church on the university with clergy and laity alike coming together to pray for and prepare for a peaceful demonstration. While they were in that room, they began to hear loud chants and screaming. And they looked out, and they saw mainly young white men carrying tiki torches, running towards that church, chanting things like blood in the soil, Jew will not change me. 1930s words of Nazi Germany. And not someplace far off. We're right here in our own country. White supremacy. No one is more supreme than any other person alive. The only supreme being that I have ever been taught, that I have ever read about, wasn't even a white man. Doesn't that just tick you all off? It was a dark-skinned man from the Middle East. and his name was Jesus. Nelson Mandela, to paraphrase one of his statements, people were not born to hate those who were different. They were taught to hate. They can also learn to love again. What happened in Charlottesville last night could happen anywhere. There's even reports, there's pictures. Somebody supposedly from the University of Arkansas wearing an Arkansas engineering t-shirt. The president of the University of Arkansas published a public statement saying that they were all about inclusivity and diversity and accepting people before the president of the United States could even come out and say, well, everybody's at blame. Bull. That's just crap.
Preach it.
We're not called to be racist, bigoted people. We are called, as a thing that Roy posted online the other day, we are called to be a church of hope, helping other people evolve. We are not called to sit back on our laurels and watch people on TV being beaten and hit, or clergy walking down the street arm in arm in vestments and robes, some in t-shirts and jeans, marching in silence up the street to try to stop this riot yesterday, stomping in front of a group of neo-Nazi evil people and starting to sing a song, "This Little Light of Mine, I'm going to let it shine." While that was happening, behind them were men with baseball bats and brass knuckles hitting them and taking the ground. At one point, there were 3 clergy people missing from their crew, from their group. They finally found everybody. And we're not talking about big-name churches only. We're not talking about just the people who pastor the great cathedrals. We're talking about people who pastor Metropolitan Community Church of Charlottesville. We're talking about a UU pastor. Watching an interview with Joy yesterday on MSNBC, live on television as she's interviewing Reverend Blackman, an executive minister of a small church. She was drugged off of camera with people screaming, get out, they're after you, let's go, we've got to go. That's not what this world is about. And we have to stand up, all of us, and make a difference. We can't just wait for somebody else to do it. And you know, for those who would sit back and say, that would never happen in the South because we're good, God-fearing, church-going people. There are many church pews that are empty this morning because those white racist bigots are out in Charlottesville beating the hell out of people. But they'll be okay because next week they'll make up for tithiness this week. And they'll find their salvation and their crown and their glory. What's more important, if you really want a crown of salvation and glory, is the way you live your life. We all need to step up, step out, and do something, and say something. Bonhoeffer says, no action is action. Not speaking out, speaking out. Let's speak out. Let's say we know we deserve better because we are created in the image of our God. And that's a beautiful image. Let's stand for that. Let us truly be a church of hope. God of grace, open us each up to receive the knowledge you have for each of us and the wisdom to embrace our past. Give us each the power to use our gifts and abilities to your glory and to your honor. Give us the strength to share our whole selves with all that we need, so that they may find the same grace for themselves that you have so mercifully granted to us. Amen.